Alright, so we're doing something a little different today. It's gonna be a nice little podcast. So, I'm Miggs from Miggs & Co.
I'm
And
Skeleto from
there's-
Miggs & Co. also.
There's El Skeleto, and we're just gonna talk about some random stuff. So, I was like compiling a list of, things to talk about, and I think my main question is, what are the games that we're looking forward to, like at this moment?
Oh, that's an easy one for me. The Resident Evil 2 remake. Definitely looking forward to that one.
How much have you seen on it so far?
A good amount. Basically everything that they put out. I'm 100% behind that one right now.
I am too. I'm really looking forward to seeing the old horror aspects come back to Resident Evil, because 4, 5, and 6 have been just pure action.
Yeah.
And
no, 4 not that much, but
yeah, it had a really good balance in my opinion. But then
Yeah.
5 was just
5 was a bit too much action, yeah.
it was.
6 was just downright action altogether. Forget horror.
It was. It really was. I think the scariest bit of 6 was Leon's campaign.
No, yeah, definitely. That was the scariest campaign. Everything else is like basically all action, schlock, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. So how do you feel that the Resident Evil 2 remake is actually a self-contained story? It's like it's a remake, but it has it's like a new thing as well.
I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, as long as they follow what the original did, try not to change too much. I'm pretty much fine with it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they handle the horror aspects of that game, because from the trailers we saw, like it looks really really good.
Oh yeah, definitely, yes.
So I'm hoping it delivers, because I don't want a disappointment.
Oh no, yeah, that's the last thing we want from Resident Evil right now. And we didn't get that Resident Evil 7, thank God.
Yeah, I kind of had gripes at RE7 because there was only one enemy type in the game before like the DLC and stuff came out.
Yeah, like what are they called? Mold?
Yeah, the molded.
There we go. Yes.
And it's like they weren't even smart AI either.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I guess zombies weren't that smart, but I don't know. I guess they were all right. I suppose.
I feel like the zombies of Resident Evil 1 and 2 could overwhelm you if you weren't careful enough. And I feel like the molded kind of missed out their opportunity to have any sort of shock factor besides first seeing them, and then, it's like, oh, it's this really big thing. We can kill it.
Yeah, that's true. They probably could have done a lot more with the molded now that I think back.
Like, they could have had, like, an enhanced version of it, kind of like what they did with Crimson Heads in Resident Evil 1.
Yeah, that's true.
Which would have been pretty terrifying. Or or add the hunters back. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, hunters would have been an awesome addition. Yeah.
I think other than that, like Resident Evil 7 was pretty solid. It gave us our first person Resident Evil game.
Yeah, a bit different, but what it was definitely a good Resident Evil game.
Yeah, I was really happy to see it like get good scores and everything, and the PSVR for it kind of looked creepy.
Oh yeah, I haven't tried that out yet, so I wouldn't really know.
I haven't either. It'd be something like really cool to do.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not ready to buy a VR set yet.
Yeah, me either. I honestly want like maybe a first person Resident Evil from the old series, like not the old series, but like the older games just remade in first person and have horror aspects. Like if Resident Evil 2 had a first person mode, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
And like having VR aspect to it, so that way it's like legitimately you're there.
Oh yeah, like you're actually in Raccoon City fighting against all those zombie hordes
Like
and stuff.
that would be intense.
That would be pretty intense. That would be really cool too. They should probably do that with Resident Evil 3, if anything.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one
You
too.
explore Raccoon City and all that shock, fighting off all those zombies, entering the police department, fighting off Nemesis, all in first person. That'd be fucking awesome.
It really would be. So we've been tossing ideas around for a while, as far as like what our channel is going to be playing in the future. We have our whole month of October dedicated to horror games. After that, like, what kind of stuff would you be interested in playing? Because I have some ideas as well.
To be honest, I haven't really thought about it too much. I mean, we can keep going with classic games, but like in terms of like games coming out besides Resident Evil 2, there's really not much that comes to mind, to be honest.
I think I want to show you the Yakuza series.
Oh yeah, that's
That'll
right.
be pretty fun.
They're making the Yakuza game, or what was it? Shenmue, I think.
No, the Yakuza studio is making like a completely new game,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's not Yakuza at all. It's kind of like the same assets, but it's something like really, really
Oh,
different.
something way different. Okay.
The latest entry in Yakuza came out, I think, late this year or earlier this year. We got Yakuza 6 came out, and then Kiwami 2, which is pretty much the remaster of number 2, came out as well.
Oh, okay.
So I think what Sega's doing right now in the whole studio, they're starting to remaster all their old games, which is amazing because they do more than what they do with HD collections. It's just like, oh, we're going to give it a little bit of polish and not change anything. But they actually do some really good stuff with it.
Yeah.
So far we have their first game was remade, so that's Kiwami. And then they remastered number 2, which is Kiwami 2. And I did pick up 6, so we can start from 0 and work our way up. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
But I think Yakuza is definitely a series I want to do. I was talking with Mott's, and a little spoiler for October, we're definitely going to do some Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, that would be a fun game.
That'd be pretty fun.
I never actually played that game either.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so I've heard.
And I think that's going to be the first game that we're actually going to have her play by herself, too.
Oh, really?
So I'm not going to be playing at all. I'm just going to watch her play.
Oh, okay. Come on, see how it turns out now.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty fun. There's a lot of stuff I want to play on this channel. Like, I want to continue doing, like, you know, retro games. I want to eventually put up some stuff for the NES, because we did record certain things for this month, and I'm really looking forward to diving a little deeper into the library, and maybe we can have, like, a shitty games playlist or something.
Oh, yeah, we could definitely do
That'd be cool.
Yes. There's, like, so many good shitty games on the NES and SNES.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There really are. I got a couple that we could play.
Yeah, I got a couple in mind as well.
I'm not gonna spoil anything, but got some ideas floating around. Let me see. So do you have like any interesting like gaming stories or like glitches that you kind of want to talk about? Because I had some stuff in mind as well.
Huh. Interesting glitch and stuff like that. The only one that really comes to mind is this one glitch. It wasn't me that did it, but my brother. So he was playing Donkey Kong Country 3, and I guess he was like on that one level. It's like one of the beginning levels where you play as the elephant. You know, like this old mill, right? So when you play as the elephant, right? The trick to that level is that you can't fight a mice in the light, because you know how elephants are scared of mice and all that stereotype. All right. So I don't know what he did, right? But he was playing that level as the elephant, right? Sees a mouse, right? The elephant runs away screaming, right? Jumps on one of those green bees, and then he gets stuck on that bee. He keeps jumping over and over again, and eventually the whole game crashes, right? So he turns it off, turns back on, and for some reason the game won't work anymore. It just freezes up. And
Oh
that
my
game
God.
is broken now.
That is crazy. I've never heard of something like breaking in that fashion.
Yeah. It was kind of disappointing. That was a good game. I'll dearly miss it.
Man.
I mean, I got a new cartridge, but I still have the old one. Just to remind me of the disappointment.
Wow. I've never heard of like games actually frying from glitches or just not working. But that's pretty crazy. I think like one of the weirdest glitches I've seen like recently was when I was playing Skyrim, like not recording any footage like or anything, and I've had moments where characters would get stuck in certain animations. You know, Skyrim's a big glitchy game. You know, it's bound to happen at some point.
Yeah.
But I literally had a character who was like running on a treadmill, just running, and I didn't stop him. I was just staring at him the whole time. I might have clips on my hard drive, but he was literally he couldn't get past the door.
Oh,
He's just walking, like the door's open, and he's just walking like
just
infinitely in front of the door. So I'm just sitting here watching him for a good like 5 to 10 minutes, just watching, and it was hilarious. Like that game is so broken.
Yeah, but still so fun, right?
Yeah, like there are so many different ways you can break Skyrim. Like in my file, for some reason my armor duplicates infinitely. So there's a piece of armor in the game that you're only supposed to have one of.
Yeah.
And this mannequin, this armor statue, he spawns it infinitely. So every time I leave my house and come back, like say you fast travel on the map and then you go back to my house, there's a new set of armor sitting there on that mannequin.
Oh, really?
So you can sell it infinitely, and it's worth over 5,000 gold.
Oh, damn.
And when you fully upgrade it, it's worth 10,000. So I made bank pretty quickly. And I know some glitches, like, people feel bad about using, but But games like that are so big and you can literally sink hundreds of hours in, I don't feel bad having some sort of boost because the level scaling in that game does not work whatsoever. I'm pretty sure you've heard horror stories of people playing Skyrim and like certain things are supposed to be easier, but they're just the same. Like,
yeah, I've heard a couple of things. Yeah.
Like they don't scale properly. Like a lot of games, they'll match it or they'll make it a little harder, but Skyrim can be like uneven. Like you go to an area where there's still like level 2 enemies you'd kill in one swipe, and then you go to a dungeon where they're like level fucking 80 and you're like 50, and like crazy stuff like that.
Damn.
And you get overpowered. I think it also depends on your difficulty too. Like sometimes they'll be scaled properly or a little stronger, and then they'll be like really, really strong. So I think that's what they should fix for Elder Scrolls 6, because we did get a name for it, and it's called Redfall, apparently.
Oh, really?
So people are thinking that it's going to be set in Hammerfell, which is pretty much where like the people that are running the militia for like the Imperials, they're all from from like Hammerfell and like stuff like that. So I'm hoping that's some of the ground we're going to cover. I'd like to see maybe not a proper, but like a remaster of Oblivion. Because Oblivion had some funny moments in there too. Like the game was just weird and glitchy sometimes. That'd be fun. I think another game I'm interested in playing on the channel is definitely, I want to say, like Battletoads. We definitely gotta play some Battletoads.
Yes, that would be a good game, definitely.
I want to do like Battletoads and Double Dragon, like that game.
Oh, that game, yes, I know which one you're talking about.
And then probably do like a Double Dragon 2 playthrough.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that'd be pretty fun.
We'll play through like whole 2-player beat 'em ups, huh?
Yeah, dude. That'll be exciting. Maybe TMNT.
Oh yeah, TMNT. Which one? I forget.
Maybe Turtles in Time.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one's like one of the best ones I've heard.
Because I want to try that. I've never played any like old school like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. I've only played the ones on like Xbox and stuff.
Oh really?
So.
Oh okay, yeah, that'd be cool to try out. I played a couple, not too much.
Yeah, I haven't really like touched any of that stuff, so that'd be cool. I do want to play Shenmue.
Oh
on
yeah,
the channel
Shenmue
as well.
Yeah.
I heard the remaster is like kind of buggy.
Oh really?
I was reading an article, and apparently the original dev from Shenmue 1 and 2 like literally stated like, yeah, they didn't fix any of these bugs, they made it a little worse.
Oh wow.
So I'm just like, holy shit, like on top of that major install, they're gonna have to patch it, and then the install is gonna go even higher now.
Yeah.
Like,
Eesh.
I don't know if you read, but the third game in the series is actually gonna be over 100 gigabytes.
Oh wow.
And that's
really?
only on PC. We haven't heard any of the specifications for PS4 yet, but if the PC version, which is supposed to have the smaller file size, is 100 gigs,
Oh damn.
I'm very scared for the PlayStation.
Oof. Time to clear some useless stuff in there, huh?
Oh my god. My 2 terabytes already getting packed again. I can't imagine installing the whole game when it comes out.
Well, yeah, I can't imagine that nightmare either, to be honest. Eesh.
I think that's an interesting topic. What's your take on like the size of games nowadays?
I mean, they're definitely starting to get bigger and bigger now. I mean, I guess there's going to, I feel like there's going to be a point in time where I guess it's going to be difficult to decide which game to get, just depending on how big the file size is going to be, like how much can actually fit in your system nowadays. I don't know, I feel like maybe we won't have that much problem with the PS5 because we're not sure exactly we're going that way. I don't know.
I really hope in the future a lot of developers start shrinking file size, because there's no reason, and I get it, Shenmue 3 is supposed to be a very big game, but there's no reason it should be 100 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's true.
When we have games that get to that file size when they actually have DLC attached to them.
Oh yeah.
Like Arkham Knight, for example, when you get the Season Pass and all the DLC, the game goes from 50 gigs to 78. So that's understandable because of all the content, but even so, like, they could shrink that down so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have a bad internet connection, or, like, I don't know, say your cables are kind of messed up for your connection, like...
Oh, yeah, good luck trying to download all that crap.
Exactly. Exactly. It'll turn, like, a 5-hour download into, like, a 24-hour download. So I honestly think, like, back then, we had memory cards that like were 8 MB,
Yeah. Then they're like,
and that was a lot.
yeah.
You know.
And cartridges, you just like stick it in there, you got the game all together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not having to install, no bullshit like that, and
You just put it in and go. That's it.
I feel like now with this like gaming generation and the previous one, it's like we're gonna show our capabilities so much so that now everything's just overly saturated and like just file sizes are just crazy huge now.
Yeah.
Like what Nintendo did with the Switch, I don't know how they did it, but they shrank down Doom to like 2 gigs.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Doom is about 78 gigs as well now. So they got it from 78 to like 2 or 3. That's impressive.
Definitely. And the
And
fact that it still runs pretty smoothly too is also impressive.
Aside from like obviously getting up close to textures and everything,
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's gonna look a little muddy,
Yeah.
but they shrank it the hell down.
Yeah. It still plays awesomely as well.
So whatever they did for the Switch, I feel like Nintendo should get together with all of them, be like, hey, start trying this stuff out, and then maybe our file sizes will be a little better.
Oh yeah, take a few notes from Nintendo what they did.
Because honestly, like with this generation of consoles, you can't even have a 500 gig hard drive anymore. And with PlayStation 3 and 360, that was overkill.
Yeah.
I remember when the Super Slims were being released for PlayStation, they were on board with a 500 gig hard drive, and it was considered unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it's just like nowadays, if you don't have a terabyte or a 2 terabyte in your system, you're not going to have space for everything that you want.
Yeah.
And that's a bit concerning. And if when the PS5 comes out, if they find a way to shrink file sizes, like maybe, there'd be a good idea for that.
Yeah, or at least make it so you can make it easier to like get more memory in there, more RAM. I guess.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Did you hear about PlayStation enabling crossplay now?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. All thanks to Fortnite of all games.
Exactly. I honestly did not think we'd see this day. Because their whole excuse for not doing cross-platform play was this: PlayStation is the best place to play.
Yes.
That was their whole argument. There was no like business etiquette there. There was nothing that they were trying to really throw in. Like they mentioned that like, oh, we want our people to be safe on their platforms, but like Nintendo is a family company. They've always been family oriented, and they're reaching out to Microsoft to do platform play. And you got Sony over here just dragging their knuckles, and I thought that was like the shittiest thing that they've done.
No, yeah, definitely. They're basically just spitting on everyone's faces. They're like, no, we don't plan on sharing with anyone else whatsoever.
Now, on the topic of cross-platform play, we know Fortnite is in beta right now. Is there any game from any of these consoles that you'd like to see, like cross-platform co-op? Because I know Rocket League is one that people really want as well.
Yeah, Rocket League is definitely a good one. I don't know. I guess a fighting game, yeah, like any fighting game really would be awesome to have crossplay with.
Like Street Fighter 5 would be pretty cool.
Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all that stuff. That would be awesome to do that happen.
They just got to release it all on the Switch.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. But just like having Xbox and like PS4, like having both those systems like be able to fight each other, that'd still be awesome to have.
Exactly, having a grudge match.
Yeah.
That's how it should have been squashed to begin with. Like, just let these consoles duke it out.
Yeah. Well, what can you do sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with someone being like all grudgy and stuff like that.
Like they've pretty much killed Microsoft at this point with all the exclusives and just all the things they've been doing. But I didn't expect Nintendo and Microsoft to work out crossplay so fast. I thought that would have like at least taken a while. And the fact that Microsoft, which is obviously a company that doesn't like doing any of that stuff, was willing to reach out to Sony as well, they're kind of doing something right.
Yeah.
And I think Sony could learn from that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But their whole business stance on that was just lackluster. It was awful.
Yeah. Well, at least you can thank Fortnite for something at least.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Fortnite? Because I haven't played myself. I don't think I ever will.
I played it. It's alright. Definitely not a cup of tea. That's not gonna stop me from like trash talking the game though. I tried it. It's alright, but still. I can't stand like some of the people that play it, like the little kids and like the community in general. it's basically like Call of Duty when how it was beforehand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with like squeakers and all that stuff.
Yeah, I can't understand the appeal of Fortnite. I've seen gameplay, I've heard people rant about it, and honestly, like, I think we have too many battle royale games right now,
Oh yeah, we definitely become oversaturated with that stuff.
and it's getting worse. Like,
Oh yeah, like the new Call of Duty is a battle royale too.
it is,
Yeah.
and I feel like the way every company is focused on battle royale games, they want that piece of the pie. They want success like that, and I feel like at certain points they don't give a shit about the consumer anymore. They're just putting out something they know people are gonna buy.
Oh yeah.
Like they'll have like a half-assed product, kind of like how Destiny was when it first came out. You
Yeah.
get like half a game, and then you start paying and getting actual content for it. I feel like that's the way it's going. Like we're gonna get half-assed games. They're gonna get big and oversaturated, and that's really all that there's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like the horror genre used to be in a renaissance, and now like there's nothing good coming out besides RE2.
Yeah.
Like Agony, for example,
Oh, Agony.
was supposed to be like it was supposed to be good. It's kind of trash, you know.
Kind of. It was huge ass trash.
It was definitely lackluster.
Yes. I feel sorry for whoever bought that game.
That is like a dollar game for me right there.
And even then, that's still not $1 worth spent.
I'd rather buy like a couple copies of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde for NES than
Oh, I'm with you on that.
than buy Agony full price.
At least I can kind of play Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Agony, you just like look around and that's basically it.
Pretty much. Like, I wish Konami weren't such salty bastards, because PT could have been something so good. Like Silent Hills could have been the horror game to reignite the renaissance of horror. And honestly, since PT's cancellation, there were a lot of games that followed suit.
Yeah.
Like, was it Allison Road, for example? It was like that fan-made game.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I might have gotten the title wrong, but it's, you know, like everybody's following that formula, and I feel like it's comparable to the Battle Royale games right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we're just waiting for someone to come along to break that mold, and then maybe there'd be a reason to play these kind of genres. But me, myself, like, I don't think I'm going to play Fortnite. I haven't played PUBG yet.
Oh yeah, I haven't touched that at all.
I think the closest I've played to a Battle Royale game is H1Z1.
I forgot that had a Battle Royale too.
Mm-hmm. It has King of the Kill, and then, like, the zombies mode and everything. And, yeah, like, it's such an easy game to play. Like, there's nothing much to it. And it doesn't have the meat that I want, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we're getting some really good single-player games, and a lot of good games are getting a multiplayer. Like, Devil May Cry 5 apparently is going to have multiplayer.
Oh, really?
And I don't know how they're going to implement that. But it's interesting to see a series so old that's willing to try these new things.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I want to see how that turns out.
Like, I wonder if it's going to be, like, buddy co-op, or...
It might be buddy co-op, to be honest. I guess maybe some mini games too. I don't know what they do with it.
That'd be pretty interesting. But I feel like it'd kind of defeat the purpose of, like, Lone Wolf, Son of Sparta,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of grouping up and doing this thing. But, like, how would co-op even work in there? It makes you wonder.
Yeah, it really does.
Like, Luigi's Mansion, I don't know if you heard, but, like, the remaster for the 3DS,
Yeah.
it's gonna have co-op.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm just like, that kind of makes sense. But for Devil May Cry, like, how? Like, a ranked mode? Like, what can they possibly do? I don't know.
Yeah. It's pretty hard to say. I guess we just have to find out.
Coming up really soon. That's something else I have to play on the channel.
Yeah.
We also have to get through more Spider-Man as well. At some point, I'm definitely going to have you in one of the videos, so that way you can experience it too.
Yeah.
You haven't played it yet, have you?
No, I haven't played that game at all.
Oh, it's
I
a
mean,
glitch fest.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think there's a number of glitch in that game too.
Oh man, it is a mess. Like, they're patching it now. Like, they've been patching it, but I'm hoping they managed to fix a lot of the facial animation issues. Because in my playthrough at first, like before I started recording any gameplay on my second file, I didn't hit any glitches until like about halfway after, I think, like the beginning. Like I got through the beginning, you know, went to the lab and all that stuff, and like there was a certain point where then Peter would start clipping through things, and I'm just like, all right, well, what the hell's happening now? And it's gotten worse the more I progressed in the game.
Oh, really?
To the point that I fell through the earth at one point.
Oh, really?
When I was like swinging around, and like I hit the ground, I went straight through it and died.
Oh, damn.
So I think if they consistently patch it, it might work better. But right now, it feels like Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, man.
Like the facial animations are really messed up. I've seen characters completely split from their hair and their bodies and everything, and it's insane the amount of glitches that we're seeing on this game, and it's getting so many good reviews, albeit it's got glitches. And a lot of games that have been reviewed always get hit really hard for those glitches.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that Spider-Man would be different, you know?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Like, it's gotten 9.5s, like 10s, and all this shit. And I don't know if people are, like, kind of overlooking the glitches, because I know it's happening to some people, but it's happening to a lot of people now.
Oh, really?
And, like, that's not a thing that stops me from playing a game. It's annoying, but, like,
Yeah.
I don't get how it's scoring so high when it needs more polish.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it is what you said. Like, they're just kind of, like, not paying too much attention to it. I guess they don't like talk too much trash on Spider-Man, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like, you know, solid game, like everything's great about it. Combat's great. Swinging around's as amazing as you think it would be. Story's pretty great. It's paced evenly, but those fucking glitches, like they take you out of it in a split second. Like you'll be in a really important cutscene, and you'll see somebody clipping, and you're like, oh, well, like I'm playing this right now. You know, like, I'm not just watching the story unfolding, like, this is a fucking glitch right in front of me, and it's hard to not notice Mary Jane splitting from her hair. Like, but I feel like if Insomniac keeps pumping out patches, and, you know, they're constantly putting in that care because they made a shit ton of money from that game.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no reason they can't patch it. Like,
oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm hoping for at least, like, I don't know, like, I'd be fine if 25% of the time there's glitches. But right now it feels like 75% of the time you're seeing something in a cutscene. Or like outside of gameplay. Yeesh. Or not, outside of cutscenes, I should say. But I'm excited to see a lot of the DLC as well. Because we did get the announcement of Black Cat being DLC.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Is there any like Marvel villain or hero that you'd love to see in Spider-Man as DLC?
Venom.
Venom.
Definitely.
Venom would be pretty awesome.
Yes.
They should have like a whole storyline about like the symbiote and you getting the symbiote suit and everything.
Oh yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty awesome, definitely.
Because he does reference the black and white suit in one of the parts in the game.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I think her name's Watanabe, the like the captain he's working with, the police captain.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, do you have something black and white to wear? Because like it was like the policeman's ball.
No.
And he like starts stammering, and it's like, Spider-Man, we know, we're just waiting for it to pop back up again. But I think, yeah, Venom would definitely be cool. Mott's and I were talking, and we think having Daredevil in it would be pretty awesome too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Having like a Defenders DLC or like teaming up with Daredevil to defeat Wilson Fisk, that'd be pretty cool too.
That would be awesome, yes.
So I hope that can happen. Even having like Carnage in there would be insane.
Carnage definitely on the insane part too.
Like them opening up a different part of New York City and Carnage like starts taking stuff over.
Yeah.
Because doesn't Carnage have the ability to like gain hosts or?
I don't know about the gain host part. I know there's something that had to do with I guess, or was it Carnage or no? It was Venom. Where there's a comic where they captured Venom, and I guess like they split him to different parts and then create like different symbiotes as well. I forget all their names, but yeah, Carnage. I honestly forget. I know he's a psychopath. That much I know. Like he's literally like a bloodthirsty psychopath.
Oh, that'd be really fun to see.
Yeah. I know Carnage would be definitely a lot of fun to have.
Yeah, there's so much they can do with this property. Like, it's obvious that Insomniac might have a hand in more Marvel games. I hope it doesn't stop with Spider-Man. I hope they can bring us other games, maybe like a proper Superman game, even though I know it's not Marvel, but seeing different superhero properties being done right would be pretty interesting. I like what Injustice did with a lot of the DLC characters. Since it's just a fighting game, like, just imagine how that translates to an open world game.
Oh, yeah.
With one hero as the focus. Like, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool, yes.
I also want Insomniac to keep patching Spider-Man. But other than that, like, it's definitely solid. And, like, once I beat it, I'm definitely going to lend it to you.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Because I'm doing, like, you know, my playthrough and then the playthrough for the channel and everything. So you can borrow it, you can watch it, doesn't matter. Because we always watch our stuff anyway.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that, guys.
There isn't.
Gotta know how it is.
It's fun.
It is. It trips me out, you know, seeing, like, our gameplay and stuff and, like, hearing it. So I'm glad that we started doing that because it's really fun, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out one last thing to talk about. Paper Mario.
Oh, okay. What about it?
At some point, I think after our whole, like, month of October, I want to start pumping out some videos for the 1,000 Year Door. So you guys keep a lookout for that because that is the best Paper Mario game to play. Hands down.
I'll take your word for it.
And I have a copy, so it's pretty damn fun. I want to start doing a new thing where, like, if we're playing, like, a single-player game or whatever, and one of us dies, you know, like, passing it off.
Oh, okay, yeah, just, like, pass the remote.
And I want to start putting in the video, like, who's playing, if we do that, so that way, like, everybody knows.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
But, yep, that's it, guys. Let us know what you think of this new format. I want to do more podcasts in the future, just to break it up a little bit, because as much as I love seeing Ash shots and Pokemon Snap, sometimes you just gotta break it up a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed. You guys take it easy, and look out for some more parts of Spider-Man and some more secret stuff that we have. I will be announcing some stuff, so just keep an eye out. Don't you miss it. Don't you fucking miss it.